Welcome to Treehouse Build Part 5. It's like 3 or 4 months of footage, and I think it might just make more sense if I walk you through it on the voiceover. So I'll take you guys through the video step by step, and the first thing that we do is chop up a pecan log from a pecan tree that fell over there in the orchard, and we bring it over to get milled up for some countertops. So should be an interesting video. Stay tuned and please enjoy. On our property, we have this amazing pecan orchard. It's over 100 years old and it's very beautiful. But unfortunately, back in July, we lost one of those pecan trees during a storm. And it was rotting at the base, which I realized after it fell, and that's what made it weak. And let me tell you, cleaning up one of these massive pecan trees is no small task. The wood is extremely hard and heavy. It's just as dense as hickory, which makes it eat through chainsaw chains really quickly. In September, we had the property logged out, and we opened up a lot more land and thinned out the pine trees so the remaining ones could continue to get larger. And while those loggers were there, I knew I had to capitalize on their heavy-duty logging equipment. Right here is the countertops for the treehouse. With some persuasion, I managed to get the loggers to load up the main trunk and the branches of the pecan tree onto my trailer. And the branches are literally just the size of smaller trees, so they count. I brought them to my sawmill guy, Ryan, who is conveniently located just a mile down the road, and I asked him to mill me up some 2-inch slabs that I can use for kitchen and bathroom counters, tables, shelves, and any other service in the treehouse. His bobcat was at its absolute limit with this log. It was close. It's a beast! I'm gonna try to get some video footage. I don't know when he's gonna mill them up, but I'm gonna try, guys. I thought this was a big pecan log until that pecan log showed up. That thing is anywhere from 3.5 to 5 feet thick. We took it down because it was in really rough shape, and it's actually a lot more solid than I thought it was. So I kind of regret taking it down, but it was in rough shape. This pecan tree is super sketchy. Well, this pecan log is twice the size of the one that I just dropped off to get the countertops milled. Now I have an enormous pecan log laying in the pasture because I was like, I don't know what to do with it, just throw it in the pasture, I guess. And I mean, this branch is literally larger than the one I just dropped off to get milled up for countertops. I was genuinely unsure if my truck and trailer could handle hauling this massive pecan log, but I only had one chance to move it, which was while the loggers were still on the property. And this thing was just way too valuable to let it rot. I managed to find someone with the capability to mill this piece, so I decided to just send it and see what happened. Yeah, so Tom's gonna mill this thing up, and he says it probably weighs all of 15,000 pounds, and this is a 14,000 pound trailer and a truck that can tow 10,000 pounds, and I just hauled it an hour and a half. Oh boy, that was fun. I'll tell you what, we're looking at what, 18.5 on a truck that's supposed to tow 10,000. Never mind all the weight I already have on there and the giant tires and the 600-pound crane in the back, plus that, plus all my tools. Yeah, we're probably pushing 19,000 something pounds. All right, Toyota commercial right here. Get it picked up off the trailer, so they're just gonna try to pick it up and let me drive out from underneath it because it's so freaking heavy. They got 2 forklifts. Good God, how you want me to drive out? Yep. All right. Think it weighs about 15? Probably does. You know, my truck's supposed to tow 10. Meanwhile, I also marked several more cedar trees for the loggers to take down. I don't want to wipe out too many cedar trees off the property, but if you've been following the series, you already know we've been using live edge cedar siding for the treehouse, and it looks absolutely beautiful. And we're going to need quite a bit more of it. So with the loggers' equipment on site, I had to take advantage again, and so I loaded as much cedar as I could onto my trailer, even though I couldn't afford to get it all milled up just yet. And this was another very heavy load, probably equal to or even more than the pecan tree, but we were only going about a mile down the road to Ryan again. A lot of weight, guys. This is a lot of weight. And we're just gonna creep and crawl down this dirt road till we get to the sawmill guy. Thankfully this car had enough sense to pull over because I'm not pulling over. We'll be diving into the actual treehouse build very shortly here, but there's just a lot of behind the scenes work that I think is not only important for context, but also a big part of the story. It's not just about building walls. There's so much more effort that goes into this project, and I want to share that with you guys. Prepping and milling the siding, for example, is a crucial part of this process. So when I dropped off these cedar logs, Ryan mentioned that they looked a lot better than the last batch we milled, and he's confident that we'll get some much nicer boards out of these, which is exciting to hear. So he unloaded the logs with his bobcat and stored them at his place until we were ready to mill. So Mary and I are heading over to talk to the sawmill guy who is milling up the cedar siding. As you guys already know, the siding is milled from cedar trees that we got off the property. So I bring him just like a mile down the road to a guy who mills them up for me, and we're going to get some footage of him working for the video to show you guys where our siding is coming from. And as soon as he gets all that done, we only need 2 more windows, and then we're going to finish up the whole exterior of the treehouse. I hope you guys can hear me okay. So Ryan is back there milling up the cedar logs that I dropped off. We're gonna go up there and take a closer look. I'll show you guys how it is. Here's some of the cedar that he already milled. Looks nice. Looks like it's good logs. This trim looks like it's much better too. There's no rot or anything in it. So this is all cedar that I also dropped off to him. I don't know how much we're gonna need, but we definitely have enough. He charged $100 an hour. So I told him to give me 20 hours and then see where we're at. Yeah, these are big. So all that right there is poplar, and we may end up getting a lot of that milled up for the interior because poplar is even lighter than pine, and it's a hardwood, so it's strong and light. It'll do well for that. Well, we just caught the tail end of his saw milling for today, but he's not done yet. He's getting close. Hopefully we'll have enough cedar siding out of this batch, and we'll be able to get the other 2 windows and finish the treehouse and get this video up. If you haven't seen the first 4 parts of the treehouse build, you may want to go check those out real quick just to get up to speed, but I'll link the playlist in the description below if you need to do that. I was gonna grab it, my truck's there.
Oh, that would have sucked.
So I've had to modify the framing on almost every single window so far, and the windows, they just ended up being a lot different size than what I originally planned for, but sometimes that's just what happens when you source most of the windows off Facebook Marketplace.
We'll get to work, come on.
In the meantime, Mary got to work painting the windows black. Just the black trim and the cedar siding, it just looks fantastic together. So we decided to ditch the screens, which I know sets some people off, but here's the thing. Mosquitoes, they rarely fly higher than 25 feet, and these windows are about 27 feet off the ground at the base. And with the windows painted and ready, my brother and Mary helped me do the rubber window tape on the framing and then install them. And these were the last 2 easy windows since I had the deck to stand on while working. The final 7, those are going to be a whole different story, and they'll definitely require some special equipment to get into place.
The paint still won't stick. Leaning on that window, you could break it. Oof.
No. Nice.
How's that spacing look on the sides?
Pretty good.
Can you see the holes?
No.
Things have been pretty slow on the treehouse build recently, but we've been putting a lot of work into the land in the meantime. And about a month after those windows went in, a company called ProAct Products out of Hawaii sent me some super sweet solar lights, and that finally incentivized me to throw up some temporary railings and put my solar lights on those so I have some light on these short winter days.
So we have a very special guest here today. It's my cousin Marshall, and when I was 8 years old, he came over to my house. We didn't live here, and he was like, "Hey, let's build a tree house." I don't know if you said if you called it a tree house or a tree fort.
I think treehouse.
Treehouse.
It's more of a fort though.
It was more of a fort, yeah. And so we were like, "Hey, let's build a tree house." Why don't you can tell the story for the YouTube video. You tell the little story.
No, you tell it better.
No, you tell it better.
No, you tell it better.
Just try.
No.
Okay. Marshall came over and was like, "Hey, let's build a tree house." and I never built a treehouse before, so we went and got some fence boards and some nails and a hammer from behind the barn, and we went to look for a tree, and we had a lot of trees, quite a few trees, but Marshall said we're going to use this tree right here, and I said, Marshall, isn't that tree dead? And he said, no, it's fine.
I didn't think it was dead.
It didn't have leaves.
It wasn't dead.
It was dead.
That's debatable.
It was dead. The bark was falling off. It was dead. So he was like, no, it's fine. I was like, okay. So we built the tree fort. I don't know how we did that. It was pretty big. It was like 8 by 8. It was a good size. A couple months later, my dad had to put posts in all 4 corners of the tree fort and cut the tree out the middle. And that thing was solid, by the way. When he cut the top of the tree, it hit the platform and fell off, and it was fine. Anyway, that tree fort looks very similar to this one, which is why we're standing here right now. It was almost the same thing, except just a much smaller dead tree in the center, and it was much less stable than this one is. And it didn't have any bolts or any hardware, it just had nails in it. So it's very similar, and now it's been 14 years since that happened, and I've built, I don't know, 25, 30 different tree houses since then. Now I'm building a tree home that Mary and I are gonna live in, and this is part 5, so you probably know about that, but we're gonna go down and look at it, and I guess you saw it last year, right?
I'm excited to see it.
Not much has changed in the last year. We're going pretty slow, but we're gonna go show him as if it's new. So this is the current project. We've come a long way from the tree fort that Marshall and I built a long time ago, but that's how it all started. I don't know if I ever would have gotten into it without Marshall. I mean, I literally never stopped building tree houses since then. So this is the current project. What do you think, Marshall?
It's amazing. It's absolutely incredible. I can't wait to see inside.
All right, let's go. For some reason, we have no juice at the treehouse. The extension cord doesn't have anything, and I tested this charger, and we got nothing. But over there is a power station, so we're gonna go check that out. Macy, come on. Let's go, girl. Come on. Come on, pretty girl. Let's go. It's a nice place to walk. Also, I don't have a four-wheeler down here because I brought the truck down. Come on, Missy. Let's go, girl. Well, that's not good. I don't have any trip breakers. Oh. The service disconnect was set to off, so maybe that's it. Alright, we're gonna walk a little bit further and see if we have water coming out of the well. Another old brick. Old house brick. Here's another one. At some point I'll have to tell you guys a cool story that I'm discovering about the old houses that were right here next to the treehouse. They got burned down during the Civil War. Okay, that's not good. Okay. So we do have power. This was off, I don't know why. And the service disconnect was off. So let's go back to the treehouse and see if we got power there now. Macy, go check and let me know, okay? Go on, go. Go, Macy, go. Go on. Just text me, okay? Okay, we got power. It was probably that service disconnect. Well guys, it's been about 3 or 4 months since I put out a full-length treehouse video on the tree home. The tree home, not just the random tree houses we look at sometimes. And my apologies for that, and this one's not coming out yet. It is December 21st. It is clearly winter. The place looks really beautiful, honestly. I'll show you guys when we go up there. But here's what's going on right now. We're still doing the windows and the siding on the treehouse, and I've got a lot of it done. The entire front is done, and part of this side is done. But the problem is, this side back here and the other side, they've got no deck, no stairs. There's just nothing to stand on. So I have to rent like a cherry picker or a boom lift to actually reach it. This side over here, it's got nothing to stand on. The bottom of that is 24 feet off the ground, all the way up to 40 feet, 43 feet, I think. So I have 5 out of 7 windows that I need.
I got these two that I already ordered, and they're in at Home Depot. I got to pick them up. And this big one back here is in. So I just need that one and one upstairs, and then we're good. And then I'm also waiting on all of my siding to get milled up. And once I get all my materials on site, we're going to rent a boom lift, and then we're going to do this. All this out here, and all that whole wall here and upstairs. So it's just really freaking slow right now. So I'm going to reframe the bathroom wall because we're making the bathroom smaller. It's just way too big right now, and we don't need that much space in the bathroom. And the place looks beautiful right now. The pond's a little brown. We got some heavy rains and some washout, but it looks beautiful. We've had a lot of mulching and clearing done, so you can just see much further up, and you can actually see the treehouse all the way from the pecan orchard. So it looks really, really good, and still a lot of cleanup work to do. We've got the apple trees down there, which got freaking chewed up by deer. Got our fire pit going on out here. And yeah, just extended views now in every direction since we thinned out the woods a bit more, but it looks great. I'm happy with it. You're probably on like a wasp or something. I don't want you to get stung. What's down there, baby? She's looking for snakes. That's what she's doing. Do not go in there. Hey, do not go in there. Look at me. Do not go in there. Let's go. Hey, you want to come approve the bathroom design before I rip out some walls?
Sure, my ears are freezing.
Well,
My hair's wet and the wind was like...
where's your hat? Why?
You're wearing it.
No, that's my hat. This is my hat. My hat.
Okay, tomato.
No, come on. For those of you that didn't see it on Instagram, I lost about $1,000 worth of tools yesterday on the highway. Fell off my trailer. And so we had to go buy a bunch of tools at Home Depot yesterday. So we got a bunch of shiny new tools, except that one, to go scratch up. Ready to go break them in? I love how enthusiastic you are when I ask you questions on camera.
Sorry.
Okay, this is the new bathroom plan. We're going to make it smaller. We're going to make the vanity right here, and we're going to move the door over, giving us another 20 square feet probably in the living room. Good morning. So it is like a couple days before Christmas, and it is absolutely freezing. Like Macy's shivering, even though we're in the camper. I woke up this morning to no water because the pipes are frozen, which usually doesn't happen when the camper's warmed up, but they're frozen. It's very cold. There's frost all over the field outside. I've got about less than an hour to work on the treehouse, pack up, and get out of here because I got to be back home by noon to sell a truck. I better get to it. Macy, listen, baby. I'm sure you'll understand. I'm not bringing you out today. It's just way too freaking cold, all right? And since I have so much extra time on my hands, I gotta leave the four-wheeler up here and walk down and get the truck because everyone else left. And the truck's all the way down at the treehouse. And the four-wheeler's up here. And the ramps for the trailer are also up here. And they're too heavy to bring down. Long story short, I'm gonna walk like a half a mile. I'm so efficient. I don't know if you can tell just by looking, but it's cold. Alright, I'm gonna put you guys back on the time lapse and get this wall finished up, alright? Hope you don't mind. I'm running low on time, I'm sure you understand. Okay, we got the bathroom mostly done. We need to get another like 1 or 2 studs that I don't have to go in there. Walk in the door right here. This will be the vanity, counters, cabinet, storage, that kind of thing. You'll come over here, be a nice bench seat with storage underneath it. Over here you'll have a toilet and then a nice shower, and we're gonna drop this window down so the whole side of the shower is a window. And there's no one out here, guys. There's nobody out here. It's all ours. So yeah, it'll that gives us a lot more space in the living room. Probably about another 20 square feet, and it feels like it too. Like when I'm standing over here, that living room just feels so much bigger because the couch will be pushed back further. We'll have much more space to circulate, and I'm very happy with it. Well, I understand why it's easier to just build new houses than to renovate old ones. Just renovating that wall was a pain. I'm not even done. I've got to go pick up some more 2x4s and some more nails. So I think I might just get this video up to you guys because it's been like 3 or 4 months since we put up a treehouse video, and I know it's time. It's been literally over 3 years since I started. It's been over 3 years. Like, who spends 3 years building a house? 100 years ago, all this land was just fields and farms, and next to the treehouse, there's still this old well. And I'm not sure if it's any good for drinking, but if it has water, it would be great for watering the apple orchard that we just planted by the treehouse. So we cracked open the old well, and sure enough, it had water. So I tied a rock to a rope and used it to measure the depth. Turns out the well goes down about 50 feet, and over half of it is full of water. So I plan on building a solar-powered well pump to irrigate my new apple orchard, and it all ties into not only the treehouse being energy independent, but the whole property itself being self-sustaining.